How do you like STEM apples? My name's Dave Stevens.
I'm Dr. Brad Miller.
Ha! We got another week under our belt, another week to go. Oh, so are you guys facing parent teacher conferences yet, or is that just here?
We are next week.
Okay.
Now I have to go to my kid. My kids are tonight. I gotta go there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting, right? The like parent teacher conference when you're a parent is
Yes.
wildly different than parent teacher conference as a teacher. And it's just this like Twilight Zone-ish moment, and I so my son, he has autism, so he has an IEP, right? And so
Yep.
we've gone to all of his IEP meetings and all of that and done the whole thing. Well, I had his first grade teacher or his kindergarten teacher, I forget. I have her son in one of my classes.
Oh,
So, so we've done parent teacher conferences where she's the teacher and I'm the parent. And now we're switching to where we're going to do parent teacher conferences where she's the parent and I'm the teacher. And it's interesting. Her kid is a pretty good kid, just, doesn't want to put effort into anything.
I gotcha.
I'm struggling now. Like, how do I tell you that your kid is could do better? It's tough. It's really difficult as a teacher who actually has a relationship with the parent already. It's like, man, I wish your kid didn't put me in a weird spot.
Exactly. Until you go to yours and they say, "Well, we gotta talk." You're like, "Oh, hey, we do too."
Yeah. So, what is your worst parent teacher conference moment that you've ever had? Like the one where you go, man, this is terrible.
I've only ever had one that was an issue, and it happened last year.
No.
Because we were sitting in our room, and we do ours in our room. We can be in our room, which I love because I like to get some work done.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't like it when one of our last times we had conferences together where we were in the gym, everybody's just looking at each other. No parents are coming.
Right. Yeah. So
And
it's like forced hangout.
yes. And if anybody, you couldn't really wander too much because if you wandered and someone walked in, you're like, get back to your spots.
Right. Exactly.
And then that time we had to drive home in the snow.
Yeah. Yeah. That all epic.
But my worst one happened
please.
last year where you know how you get students, like you get into a trend where you have several students with the same name, first name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what parents walk in and they say, who are you here for? And they say the student's first name.
Right.
And the way they said it made it sound like, oh, this is who this is. Okay. So I started talking to them, and like 5 minutes in, they're like, I don't think you're talking about our kid. And I'm like, what? What's your last name? This. Oh, well, we weren't talking about the same kid because I thought you were here for someone else. Same first name.
Do you have 12 Mackenzies as well, or is that just
it's getting to that point where like mine are Madeline this time.
Oh, you got a lot of Madeleines. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But this was just I was like, okay, well, they said something like that doesn't sound like her. I'm like,
you're right.
It is. But wait, who are you here for? And thankfully they were like, oh, that's fine. I get it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, that's too funny. My memorable one, when I was student teaching at Olathe South High School, it was right during the 2014 Royals run. And so instead of having everybody in their rooms, they put everybody in the gym and put the game on the big screen in the gym. So they put out a huge monitor. So it was less parent teacher conferences and more like
bonding.
Community Royals watch.
Yes.
Oh man.
funny.
You know, we've done it so many different ways here at Osawatomie. Like we've done it so many different ways where, you know, sometimes we have, I mean, when you have 19 principals in 19 months,
Yeah.
everybody's going to do it their way.
Yep.
So we've done it in the past where it was just in your room and, you know, just very laissez-faire. Parents want to come in, they come in. If they want, you know, whatever. We've done it to where it's only your homeroom.
No.
And that's it. That's the only one, and you have to schedule it, and it's like pretty strict with the timing and stuff. We've done ones that are like student led, so like the students have to come up with a presentation, and they do a presentation in front of you, in front of their parents and stuff, which is, you know, that all of these things, they all have their merit. I mean,
They do.
you know, each style, whatever, each parent teacher conference has its merits. Since we have a lot of new stuff this year, they've decided to put us in different like pods.
Okay.
So we have like the cafeteria has one pod, or auditorium, and a gym, and they're doing it that way so that the new teachers can spread out. And so they presented it to the staff. And this is one of those, like, this is one of those, as a veteran teacher, I'm laughing. Right, I'm just crying on the inside because I know what they're trying to say,
Yeah.
but the message isn't getting sent. You know what I mean? And so what they're trying to say is, we want this parent teacher conferences to go smoothly for everybody. So we're going to put veterans and rookies in these pods together so that rookies have a veteran presence to lean on, you know, for questions that they might not be able to answer. Like, you know, when do you sign up for, you know, welding classes, you know, what, you know, the nuanced stuff that like a veteran may know that a rookie teacher won't, right?
Yes.
And so the principal goes and he says, we're doing it this way so that when irate parents come in and start yelling at you, you have somebody. And I was like, now these teachers, these poor teachers, think that nothing but mad.
They're coming.
They're coming. They're gonna scream and yell at you. You're gonna like, you know how many times in like the 10 years that we've doing this, I don't know how many times that I've had a teacher or a parent actually raise their voice at me.
I had it once, but I thought they were getting mad at me. No, it was their kid that was the other kid that was playing around in my room. Back in Harmon, one was just walking around, dinking around, and parents said something. I'm like, oh, you're talking to them. Okay, sorry.
Okay, not me. Do you know who shows up to the parent teacher conferences?
Parents.
The ones who don't need to be there.
Exactly.
Right? The kid who has straight A's, those parents always show up. And the kid who's like, you know, barely passing gym, you know, I need those parents here. This is the time for us to get together and put a plan together while it's early enough. And then they don't show up.
Yep.
They don't show up. And
so last year we did it. We had the same setup last year, except for half the time was scheduled and half the time was like open house style.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So we had to try. We had a calendar that they could sign up for.
Right.
This year we're going all open house style because they're going to come when they come anyway.
Right.
I'd be in the meeting with the scheduled one. There'd be another person scheduled after that, and then someone else would walk up randomly like, "I'm here to talk to you." I'm like,
I have a meeting. Did you have an appointment with the doctor?
Yes.
You'll have to see my receptionist.
Exactly. They're at the front desk.
The thing I like about, so what I found is, like rarely do I feel like the belle of the ball, right? Like rarely. But when it comes to parent teacher conferences, like kids that I don't have are like, Mom, Dad, look, there's Mr. Stevens. Talk to him. Like, I say hi to you in the halls. Like, I give you a high five. Like, you're not even my student. I don't need to talk to your parents.
Tell us about our kid. They give great high fives.
Yeah.
The form is immaculate.
Right. And maybe they could use like like some sort of hand cream or something.
Yes, they're getting a little dry.
But that's all I know about your kid. No, like so like there'll be a line waiting to talk to me, and I'm like, now, so I can't be present in the moment with the parent that I'm talking to because I'm already formulating what I have to say to the next parent that's coming up, and oh man, So the fact that we have open like that pod situation, it'll be nice because I can I'd be, oh yeah, I got a line. Sorry, I can't talk for too much longer, but
Yes.
shoot me an email. There's gonna be a lot of shoot me an email.
And then I never get that email from you, and so we'll be good.
Yeah, we're good. We are good. But this is a time to I mean, parent teacher conferences, dude. So if you want one of the most real surreal moments I've ever had, I had this kid who used to wear a hairnet all the time at Harmon. And I don't know if you've seen Stand and Deliver, but when kids at Harmon wear hairnets, that means they're in a gang. I found that out. And so this kid is sitting there with his mom. And I told the mom, I was like, listen, he wears a hairnet to school. I'm pretty sure I know what that means. He wants to tell me it's to keep his hair down. But I see the other kids that are wearing those hairnets, and something tells me that they run around together outside of school. And she immediately turns like this slow motion, like you couldn't have written a script better. She slowly turns to him and just wow, I mean, this kid was like duck for cover because he was getting whooped in our parent teacher conference. and like that kid after that parent teacher conference, man, that kid went from like a 20% in my class, and he raised his grades and got it going. And that's up from October all the way to spring break. Email his mom once a week. We kept in touch. It was a three-headed monster, right? Me, mom, the kid, all three of us were in cahoots. And this kid was doing good. He was, getting B's, asking A-level questions. He was engaged. It was awesome. Second semester rolls around right before spring break, and he's got an A in my class. He's sitting up front and center, asking great questions. He's not involved in any of the shenanigans anymore. And man, I could not be happier. And spring break rolls around, comes and goes. And then after spring break, he quit showing up, and I can't get a hold of mom. I'm emailing mom, every week, like, hey, I haven't seen him. Where's he at? And like after 3 weeks, after spring break, one of the kid comes in after school. Like it was one of those ominous, like he shuts the door behind him kind of things. And it was like a tougher kid, and he goes, I hear you've been asking about my brother. And I was like, you don't have a brother, you silly goose. Like, what's going on? And he's like, no, so-and-so. And I was like, yeah, where's he at? Like, I can't get him to class. And I'm emailing mom, like, what's going on? Like, yeah, he's in jail. He killed somebody. Like that, in that moment, that's when real hit, like it got very, very real.
Yeah.
You work with a kid, you start to see him like really flourish and take off in the classroom. And dude, the stuff you can't control is what's going on outside of school. And man, it's just absolutely heartbreaking, some of the decisions kids make, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it just ripped my soul out hearing all the things that he'd done. And just like it just made it so real, so raw. Like in that parent teacher conference in October, I said he's either going to be in jail or dead in the next 6 months. And I hate that I was right. Like I wanted to be wrong so bad. Like I've never wanted to be more wrong. And then it turned out I was right. And
those are the hard ones.
Yeah, which is I think why you and I have bonded, is because we had those 7:30 meetings all the time, and we had to go through the trauma that those kids were, we had to experience that trauma secondhand. It's crazy, absolutely crazy.
I say when I talk to people, and like we had an incident a couple of years ago here where the crisis team had to come in for it was a medical reason.
Sure.
But I look at some of my colleagues and I go, I worked at Harmon for 8 semesters. Not one semester did we not have the crisis team there. Every semester the crisis team was there, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, we had a 5-month stretch where it was once a month.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean that's where trauma goes to roost,
Yes.
And so like, what do you do as an educator, right? You you do your best to sink your paws in and help these kids grow and mature. And um so and this is I love this is where this is going. um I tell my kids at Harmon, when I had them, I was like, listen, the beauty in life is character, and building character, developing character, showing your character. And there's really, there's only a handful of ways to actually develop character. One of which is to go through and face adversity. And if you think about these Olathe kids and the Blue Valley kids and these rich kids, from these suburban neighborhoods, they don't have the amount of opportunities that you do. You are rich. You are rich with opportunities to show your character. Those kids aren't. You have an opportunity that they don't have. And posing it as an opportunity and less of a hardship,
Yep.
Was my spin that I tried to put on it. And I don't know that ever sunk in with anybody, but it definitely worked for me. And then this one kid I had, his name was Oscar. I had him in my advisory class for 3 years. And every it seemed like once a month, Oscar would come in and he'd be like, "That's it. You'll never see me again, mister." All right. Where are you going this time? And I'd seemingly just be like, has your family ever graduated from high school? No. Anybody that's ever actually graduated from no. Like, what are you gonna do? You leave here, you go work with your brother and do some landscaping, and then where are you gonna be? All right. So like I just kept like talking to him about it, and I was like, just give me one more month. And he graduated, right? And then like 6 months after he graduated, I get this like humongous text about how impactful it was for him to actually graduate high school. I was like, that I wish I had printed it out or kept it in some way,
Oh
so
yeah.
go back and read those exact words again, because it really it was like, oh, this is exactly why I do it. This right here is why we're doing what we do.
Those moments. That's what we got to live on, those moments, because
Exactly.
they're sometimes few and far between,
Mm-hmm.
and the bad comes more frequently usually.
Well, he's getting married this Saturday.
Oh,
and I'm going to the wedding, and I could not be more excited. I'm so
nice.
proud of him. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
he's getting married to one of your kiddos from your academy. And
Whoa.
if I could tell you her name, I would, but I can't. I have such a hard time with those names and faces. But I
You'll
will
have to let me know.
I will undoubtedly make sure that you're gonna get I'll be live tweeting the ceremony for you, so you get all the
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Yeah. No, I'm so proud of him, man. He's stayed on the straight and narrow, man, and it's been nothing but just good things and positive energy from him, and I could not be more proud of him.
That's the kind of stuff that takes us through each week, even though whether they're good or bad, remembering all that we can do or all we do, that does make a difference.
Right. Exactly. So outside of parent teacher conferences, how's y'all's football season going? Are y'all doing good or what? Y'all medium?
Yep. We've got two losses on the year.
Okay.
And that's been back when we were shuffling through our 8 rounds of different quarterbacks because of injuries.
that happened to you too?
Yeah. I think we were down to our 4th string at one point, and now we're back to the 1st string. And I feel like most people are healthy. Well, actually, no. We had 2 that have been down for the season: our starting center, and then
that's tough.
Linebacker DN or kind of guy that is.
Yeah.
And so
now, do you run scoreboard?
Nope. I don't do anything I just go to the games with my kids.
So you just go to enjoy it. I love that. Yeah, yes. Good for you.
But we have one more game this Friday, I think, against Belton.
Okay.
And then next week starts the playoffs.
Awesome. Well, we'll be rooting for you. Hopefully you guys get to that. We lost our starting quarterback to the I wish I could make this up. What I'm about to say is 100% true, and I wish that I could have made this up, but our starting quarterback knocked himself out when he kicked himself in the face, and he couldn't play due to concussion.
How do you kick yourself in the face?
I am simultaneously impressed and disappointed all in the same breath. I guess he was celebrating during dodgeball or something. And like he leapt out of the way of a ball. He tried to dodge a ball, or he was really excited. And he was cheering himself. I don't know, but he took his knee and he put his knee in his eye socket and knocked himself completely out. I wish I could tell you more. I wish I could tell you something different, but man, that's exactly how our season has gone.
I mean, it's kind of impressive, but
right. There's so much to be impressed about with our kids, with our football team. It's like, man, this is great, but like you knocked yourself out. Like that's really athletic. We got something to build on when you get back.
See, it almost makes me think of something like if you ever saw the movie The Replacements.
Yeah.
Or on Little Giants. Like it's something they would do themselves.
Right, exactly.
Well, I don't know where you came up with that, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's based off a true story.
Right, exactly. Yeah, when they were like, yeah, the quarterback's out tonight. It's like, why? It was on a Friday too. Like, it was on a Friday, like 6 hours, like we were like an hour away from the end of school, and this kid knocks himself out. I couldn't believe it. That's too good, man.
Was your coach one of the teachers at that time in the room?
No, none of the football none of the football coaches were there, I believe.
So who do you designate?
Like somebody had to go
coach.
Somebody had to break the news.
Yes, you know how you have that quarterback.
Yeah,
he usually plays. He's not going tonight.
Say why? Why is he not playing?
He kicked himself.
He kicked himself. What, in the shin? Like hurt his Achilles?
In his head.
He kicked himself in his face.
Oh man.
But which is you have to laugh. You have to laugh. There's nothing else you could do with that.
The only thing that would be better if they had video.
Right. And I guess in the gym they don't have the cameras in the gym or whatever. I don't know. Too good.
Film studies would have been terrible for the next week for that game.
Yeah, exactly. I see what you did with your knee here.
Congratulations, you're now a punter too.
Right. So who do you have any cool advancements in your bracket?
Last week was one of the ones that's a present day one, so I wasn't quite sure where I would go.
Yeah.
It was the person that advanced was not the one I would have picked, but it was kind of like a toss-up anyway.
Yeah.
So it was Omar Yagi versus Paul Alivisatos.
Oh, okay.
And Paul Alivisatos advanced by like 6 or 7 votes.
And what did he do?
He worked on a lot of colloidal chemistry, but he is not really researching anymore. He's actually the president of the University of Chicago.
Hey, okay, yeah,
so it's like, oh,
yeah, good for him.
Yagi,
what is colloidal?
It's basically it was more. He works more at nanoscale.
Okay,
that's really what it was.
Which is really small.
It's really small. But Yagi, the other one, does metal organic frameworks, which basically like kind of making cages that are a combination of metals and organic compounds.
Okay,
and from what I had been reading, he was one of the names that was possibly going to be called or 2 Wednesdays ago for Nobel Prize.
Well, yeah,
but he obviously didn't get called.
Sure,
but he's one that I think they say within the next 5 years he might be getting called for getting the prize.
Wow, that's really impressive.
But both of them had won a Wolf Prize.
Yeah.
So
Archimedes took on Apollonius in the ancient category for us, and Archimedes. No, not Archimedes. Excuse me, Aristotle.
Okay.
A lot of A names in the Greeks. Aristotle, the philosopher Aristotle, he dabbled in math and got himself pretty far. He was one of the first people. Like the thing that I like about Aristotle when it comes to science is that he said we need to experiment, we need to observe experiments and collect data from these experiments, and we need to be open-minded enough to know that our minds can be changed. Like our preconceived notions aren't always true. Sure, they're true sometimes, but we need to be open-minded enough to look at the data for what the data is. And that got lost because he made a lot of scientific like announcement, like proclamations that were wildly false.
Yes.
And he's blamed for, setting science back years and years and years. Which I think is really interesting because he's the one that said, be open-minded, be prepared to change.
As when we start introducing the history of the atom, it's like, hey, there's this guy named Democritus who kind of came up with the idea of atoms, but he was told he was wrong by Aristotle.
Yeah. No, chemistry got put back about 2,000 years or so.
Yeah. Well, it was basically from there until about the 1800s when John Dalton started pushing it along. It's like, hey, 2,000 years. Woohoo.
Yeah. Exactly. What could have happened, man? What could have happened?
Well, but the thing, this is how I talk to my students. It's like, in my mind, I imagine Greek philosophers sitting around on a bunch of rocks going, this is made up of stuff.
Right.
What's it made up of? I don't know. I was thinking and I said it.
Right. I see it the same philosopher sitting around, but one guy has a stick and he's drawing triangles in the sand. And like another guy has some string and he's making circles. Like that's the way I see it in my mind, at least. Yes. Oh man, that's too good. That's too well. Anyways, Apollonius beat the dickens out of Aristotle.
Oh, okay.
And then I'd had a modern day between Andrew Wiles and James Grime, a couple of modern day British mathematicians. Andrew Wiles, do you know who he is?
I do not know who he is.
You should, because he was the guy who proved Fermat's last theorem.
Okay.
He came up with the biggest proof in the 20th century. In 1996, he finally proved Fermat's last theorem, which had been eluding mathematicians for hundreds of years. And it was thought to be impossible. And it's maybe one of the most simple looking problems you've ever seen. And it took him one whole entire semester of lectures to prove it. That to me is amazing.
That is. I mean, I missed that back in '96. I missed the newspaper that day to read up. That was 12, but
but in all fairness, could you imagine taking 7 years of your life, living in an attic for 7 years and working on one problem, and the proof to this problem takes a semester to explain? A semester worth of lectures. He had to get up there every week for a semester and plow through these lectures one after another until finally, like 3/4 of the way through the end of the year, somebody goes, wait, he's about to prove Fermat's last year. Like it started with like hundreds of people that showed up to these lectures because he hadn't done lectures in 7 years.
Yeah.
So he does this series of lectures, and like hundreds of people show up. They don't know what's going on. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, it's down to like 6 people.
Well, because problem is, if you miss one day, you're lost.
Well, yeah, there's that. But I mean, at the beginning, people thought he was going to prove something. Or people thought he was going to, do this semester long lecture on, some subcategory of something or other. And it turned out to be something wildly different. They didn't think he was going anywhere with it. And so the 7 or 8 people that stuck with it to the end, man, boy, were they were in for a shock. Yeah. So yeah, there's like several documentaries about it. Well, anyways, James Grime is number file famous. He has over 400 something million views on YouTube,
Yep.
wildly popular. And he ended up losing to Andrew Weil. Andrew Weil won, yeah, but barely. But it was a good round this week.
That's a difficult one because
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure you didn't bias it either way.
No, actually, this time I didn't because
You
I didn't do in-class presentations this week. I made them go through the
Oh.
slides on their own. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the hard part is that there's sometimes I'm like, oh, and this person did this. It's really cool. And then this person did this.
Yeah. Yeah, you know all those neon signs that you see? Yeah. The amazing neon sign. Like this other guy painted a rock black. Ooh.
And it was just a
Rock
major
painter.
discovery.
All right, man. Well, you got anything else for me?
Oh, not just getting finished. We finished the quarter this Friday, so then wrap up. We're almost 25% of the way through the year.
Oh, that's it. Oh
That's-
my gosh. That's really big.
Yeah.
That seems a lot bigger than my goodness.
And we've stuck with this for the whole first quarter.
I know.
We're going
proud of
strong.
us. I'm proud of us. We're doing great, man. It will keep going.
It'll keep going.
I love this thing.
This brightens up the Mondays.
Yeah, it brightens up the Mondays, and it gives me like I don't know, it gives us an excuse to hang out, which we need.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, man. How can they get a hold of us if they want to talk to us?
They can reach us at howdolikeSTEMapples@gmail.com.